Okay, away we go. I'm going to go through all of the parts of the summer assignment for a push. I think this will be very comprehensive. And again, if you have any questions, you can certainly reach out to me. My contact information is there for email, or you can stop in and see me. Um, I'm in room B601. Okay. So first of all, the summer assignment is worth approximately 6% of your first semester grade. It's not a huge piece, but it is a pretty significant piece. It's important. It covers content that is on the AP exam, and it's something that is going to require some effort on your part. You are responsible for reading all of the content and all of the links from this document. And all of this information is also included on the assignment posting on our Google Classroom. I merely put the hyperlinks in here for redundancy's sake, and so it would be easy for me to go through this with you. Obviously, you have already joined our Google Classroom, as the way in which I reached out to you was I emailed everybody who was on the list I received that was signed up for the course. So you're already in our Google Classroom. And during the summer, I will post everything to the classroom. Obviously, I have everything done. I've already shared with you, when you were considering taking this course, our detail sheets, and those detail sheets have hyperlinks to everything that we do throughout the year. I just need to take some time. I have printed out the school calendar for next year, but this takes a long time. I will have it done by the end of June. And I want everything to be perfect before I publish it. I obviously can put out every assignment right now, but I have to figure out, it's very complicated as far as, getting the due dates and when things are due. I have to make it reasonable for you. And I also have to make it reasonable for me with 5 sections of APUSH, 115 kids, I believe, taking the class. So, I need to put some time in, but I will get all of that out to you. I will send you emails when I have all 9 weeks daily detail sheets created. And I will definitely have that done by the end of June, because that is the first thing that I do. I will start working on that immediately. The first Monday of the summer, which I guess that would be 4, 5, 6, which would be Monday, June 7th. I'll start writing letters of recommendation and start getting all of this material published. Okay. So obviously you already watched the introduction to the summer assignment, just a short, introduction to me. Once again, I apologize for how I look. It's just, here we are. It's Sunday, May 16th, and I just wanted to get this done. So you are watching this video now as I go over this with you. And again, all of these materials are posted in the assignment in our Google Classroom. So why do we do a summer assignment? Why am I that guy that's got to give work in the summertime? Well, we got a tough one here, guys. The AP exam is usually that first Thursday in May. I just went on their website. They have not published the dates. I'm simply going by past practices. I've been teaching this course since 2004. And it used to be the first Friday in May. In the last couple of years, they have switched to the first Thursday. We need to finish the curriculum by the AP exam. And the AP curriculum begins with pre-European colonization, 1491, in fact, and we get all the way through the beginning of the 21st century. And just reading to you verbatim, our best chance for success in this course requires that we have to do some work over the summer so that we can be fully prepared for the AP exam in May. Also, a lot of the relevant content of the summer assignment I continue to refer back to as we go through the course, right? The school setting, as I told you in the introductory video, I have no insight. Please do not take this as anything more than just pure conjecture on my part. I have to plan for the most likely scenario, and I am planning as if we are going back to school. Once again, if we are not in a traditional classroom setting, I will communicate any changes to you via email over the summer, right? Very good. As I get everything done, as far as the first thing I'll do is plot out the 9 weeks detail sheets. I will get that to you. That will come, again, giving myself some leeway here by saying the end of June, but I wouldn't be surprised if I get that done within the first 2 weeks of the summer. And as I get that done, I will be post everything to the Google Classroom. But as you'll see, in a course this dense with this much material, even working daily in the summertime, it takes some time to get everything up because everything has to be done correctly. Okay, so there are 4 parts to the summer assignment, right? And I just go through and provide an explanation for each of the 4 parts. Part 1 involves watching videos that I made last year when we were doing school at home of me contextualizing each chapter for you. It's basically like a preview of each chapter. It's like a pre-reading, right? You can use it before you read the chapter, excuse me, and then after you read the chapter. It's basically my way of teaching you sort of the big ideas that go with each chapter. Part 2 is actually reading the textbook. Part 3 is the submission of your work, of your written work. And part 4 is the exam that you take, the objective exam that you take the second day of school. So let's go through here. Okay. So again, before you read a chapter, please watch the video of me, in effect, teaching you. If you click here, right, here, okay, that opens up. I have so much stuff on my YouTube channel. And again, I made these last year at home. And you can see chapter 1 is about 14 minutes, chapter 2, 17 minutes, chapter 3, 17 minutes, chapter 4, 13 minutes, chapter 5, about 10 minutes. And again, you know, it's free country, right? We're not keeping our people behind a wall with a machine gun. You do what you want. But I wouldn't have taken my time to make these if I didn't think they would help you out, as it is I would take you through a Google Doc, which again has these conceptualizations to help you. I think it would be useful to do it both before you read and once again after you read to check for understanding. Okay, so I'm going to close this out. Go back to here. Okay. So the textbook is by no means the only resource we use. We have a ton of outside readings from all sorts of different sorts, but the textbook is sort of our anchor. It's aligned. It's an official AP textbook. It's aligned with the AP curriculum, and you are reading the first 5 chapters, the first 156 pages of our textbook. You'll end up reading all 32 chapters before that we are done. And you can click here. You can either click here to access from our Google Drive. What I did was we paid for this, so we have an electronic version of the textbook, but it is incredibly clunky. It is so hard to use. So I just went through and turned our textbook into Google Docs by chapter. And you'll see when you get your nightly reading assignments from the textbook, I've broken it down into, like, you can click and open up a Google document with just that part of the textbook that you need to read for that night. So we're not doing a hard copy of the textbook. I'll give you a hard copy when you come in. You'll have an electronic copy of the textbook for the summer. For a whole host of reasons. One, it's creates a problem because, you know, so many people drop and then I'm chasing down textbooks. And it's also a problem just getting you a textbook. I'm going to collect them from people this year when I didn't even hand them out myself. I don't know, right? But you know, that's my problem. That's not yours. You can read. You'll see when you have opened the assignment on the Google Classroom, you can access each chapter, or you can access it from here. And once again, I strongly encourage you to watch the conceptualization videos of me first. Why is there written work? There's written work because this is a writing intensive course, and I need an opportunity to provide you feedback. This is by far the easiest writing assignment that we do, right? So that's not to say that everybody gets an A. We're very far from it, because this is a process. This is a process, and you will grow and you will get better. But I need to provide you with written feedback right away, and I need you to see sort of the reality of, you know, what the expectations are, as this summer assignment is graded exactly like we would grade everything else. There are 10 total prompts. You only answer one, just one 3-part essay. And what we do is, the AP exam has 3 types of written assessments. There's 4 parts to the AP exam in May. There's a 55 question multiple choice test, and it's stimulus based. You'll see that in just a moment. There are also 3 types of essays that are on the exam. There's what's called a short answer question. That is what we are replicating on the summer assignment. That's what we replicate on our first in-class essay exam at the end of the first 9 weeks. Then there is what is called a long essay question. This is your traditional multi-paragraph essay, an introductory paragraph, multiple body paragraphs, and a concluding paragraph. We will start doing that in late October. No, excuse me, we'll start doing, late October with Andrew Jackson. And then we will also be doing 2 in-class essay exams, one in November and one in January, where you write a long essay question. And then finally, there is the document-based question, where you have 7 documents that you will incorporate into your writing. And with those documents, for 6 of them, you describe the content of the document. You use the content of the document to support your argument. And for 3 of the 7 documents, you do what is called HIP. You explain the document, meaning you either provide the historic situation of that document, the intended audience, the point of view of the author, or the purpose of that document. But anyways, we are doing short answer questions for our summer assignment and for our first essay exam, which is in October. And of course, I will be publishing that early in the year in the Google Classroom, again, by the end of June. So there are 2 prompts from chapter 1, 2 prompts from chapter 2, 2 prompts from chapter 3, 2 prompts from chapter 4, 2 prompts from chapter 5. Once again, you only turn in 1, but you answer all 3 parts. So for example, just because I have it in front of me, if you pick chapter 5, prompt 1, you would answer A, B, and C. You would write 200 words and briefly explain one example of a conflict that arose during the process of ratifying the Articles of Confederation. Then you would write another paragraph that B briefly explained one example of a weakness or a failure of the Articles of Confederation. And then you would write a third paragraph for part C, where you would briefly explain one example of a success achieved by the Confederation government. So after you read the 156 pages, you can pick whichever one you want. Now, I take a great deal of pride of authorship of creating my own stuff. I did not do this here. These are prompts that are in your textbook, and I chose them because if they were written by the textbook, that means they can be answered by just reading your textbook. You do not need to use any outside information. If you decide that you have to do that, I've provided you with instructions regarding how you would cite that. But one more time, these 10 prompts were written by your textbook, right? To be used with your textbook, which means you can fully answer them using nothing more than your textbook, okay? None are easier than the others. It's not as if one of them is a cupcake and one of them is a bear trap. They're all the same, okay? So after you read through, you decide which one. There's 10 potential prompts. You pick one and you submit one 3-part essay, part A, part B, part C, from the same prompt. So if you pick chapter 1, prompt number 1, you would answer all 3 of these parts right here. You would not mix and match A, B, and C from different prompts. So pick one prompt, answer A, B, and C. Okay. Okay, so I went over that. For our word count, right? You are writing a total of 600 words. You are writing 3 200-word responses. You write 1 paragraph, 200 words for part A of whichever one you pick. Then you write 1 paragraph, 200 words for part B of that prompt. Then you write a 3rd paragraph and answer part C of that same prompt to 200-word paragraph, excuse me, okay? I cannot stress this enough. I am not being draconian in taking points off for this. There's a reason you lose so much credit if you don't follow these directions. There's 115 of these. Times 3, I don't even want to think about that. That means there's 345 essays that I need to read. Okay, 115 kids times 3. Everything has to be seamless from a logistical point of view. I can't guess what you're answering, and I can't go looking up in the textbook or on the summer assignment sheet if you just write chapter 4, 1A. That does me no good, okay? So you are going to follow directions. There's a significant grade reduction for not following directions because it significantly impacts my ability to get all of this stuff graded between the time I collect it and the time that I have to go back to school. So I actually wrote a sample. Imagine you picked chapter 4, prompt number 1, right? You would type out A, right? There's the entire part A. And then you write out your 200-word response. Make sure that you are indenting your paragraph. Make sure that you include your 2 citations. Then part B, you can see I've written out all of part B of that exact same prompt, right? You skip a space, write out your 200-word single paragraph response. And then part C of that prompt, same prompt, part C, type out the whole prompt, then write out your answer. Plagiarism is a major problem in this class. And you'll see that I am very laid back and easygoing, but I have zero tolerance for this. You're doing your own work. I cannot abide cheating. I just can't, right? The idea that somebody is out there grinding, putting in all of this work, and you're just either going to copy it from the internet, which is the easiest thing in the world to find, the easiest thing in the world, especially after I grade 2 or 3 of your papers and I know your writing style, plus the new feature on Google Classroom, which immediately scans the internet. The bigger problem is people think, oh, well, I had a brother 3 years ago. And again, every year we add new assignments, but some things are really good and we keep them from year to year. Well, since we switched to our Google Documents, and I believe it was 2015, I've got them all. And it takes me 5 seconds to search the Google Drive. And I do that for everyone, right? So just because you had a friend that took this 4 years ago, or you had a brother that took this 3 years ago, I am scanning all of your work through the Google Drive because I have saved everything. And if anything pops, it's a 0 and you are being turned into administration simply because I cannot abide by you not doing your own work. So hate to talk about something negative early on, but I just want you to know every single year I've run into major plagiarism issues. And it's gotten to the point, it's happened multiple times where I caught it in the second semester, went back through everything in the first semester, and grades were changed, in March. All of a sudden now the first semester was an F. So don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And it's one of the things that I take so seriously that if there's any suspicion at all, I'll spend hours searching to make sure that work is authentic. I'm not looking for trouble, but this is, what is the saying? You pray for rain, you got to deal with the mud too. I love teaching this class. I love teaching you guys, but part of that is on my part is maintaining the academic integrity for the students that don't cheat by making sure that it's impossible to copy from the Google Drive or from the internet. Okay. When you submit your work, I'm sure you have a lot of experience now submitting things through Google Classroom. The deadline is Thursday, August 5th by 11:59 p.m. You can turn it in as early as you want. If you want to get this done in June, I have a lot of people that always submit stuff in June. That's fine. Now, I will not return it. Obviously, I can't return it until I've collected everything for the sake of academic integrity. So it's not like you're going to get your grade back right away. Everybody will get theirs returned once I have graded them all. And again, just so you understand that I'm not being a big fat jerk, the reason that I ask for it to be due, not ask, I'm telling you it's due August 5th, is it takes a long time to grade these. Like you're talking 3 an hour. That's it. So I need 10 days to get all of this done. So when you turn it in effect, I'm starting to grade on August 6th. That gives me 10 days until I start school on August 16th. And at that point, there's so much stuff that I'm prepping in that I'm getting ready. And if we do have any alterations to our regular school environment, I can't be done grading summer assignments. I can't be grading summer assignments. So I have to get them done by the 16th. Okay. If there's a conflict, you need to let me know by July 1st. I'm a reasonable human being, but just because you're going on vacation on August 4th, like you still turn it in, or you turn it in before you leave. I'm talking that there is some circumstance where, you are out of the country for all of July, you need a couple of extra days. But, if you're going to be away on August 5th, submit it. If you're not comfortable submitting it while you're on vacation, and why on earth would you want to do that? Submit it before you leave. The date. Once again, those circumstances for conflicts are people that, it's not just, hey, I'm down at Myrtle Beach that day. It's again, I'm off in Alaska living in the bush for 6 weeks to try to preserve the moose, right? Had that once. You can let me know. It's got to be turned in on time. Deadlines are super important in here. 10% reduction for each day's late. You cannot afford one late penalty in this course. Get your work done on time. A couple of important things, right? You never ever write in the first person, right? If you wanted to say, I think one of the great successes of the Articles of Confederation was the Northwest Ordinance of 1787. Well, there's no reason to say, I think one success was. If you wrote it, it's what you think. Never, ever, 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 ever write in the first person, okay? I don't understand why, but it is so difficult to get everyone to double space. It is for me to read, reading on this screen. So I need you to double space it. Again, penalties for this simply because I have to go. If you don't double space it, then I have to go through and highlight all of it, and I have to double space it. That takes time. Again, there's 115 of you submitting a 3-part essay. So that's 345 that I need to grade. I cannot take the time to double space it. Follow the directions, and it's a paragraph. You must indent it, okay? Those are the big 3 things I always see on the summer assignment. People writing in the first person, people not double spacing, and people not indenting, okay? There is a 70-point rubric for each of the 3 paragraphs. Online, the online rubric is a little bit different. Like I've combined them. So if we click on the rubric, here it is. Sorry. So if I was just grading your paper by hand, with each of the 3 parts that basically I would be using 3 of these. Okay, one for part A, one for part B, one for part C, and instead they just appear as one gigantic continuous rubric where it says like topic, sentence, prompt A, evidence analysis, part A, topic, sentence, part A, evidence analysis, part B, conclusion, part A, conventions, and then it says part B, topic, sentence, part B, evidence analysis, part B, conclusion, and then again, part C. So here's what the full rubric looks like. It's impossible to type that up. You're just going to get a number, okay? So if, for example, in your writing, your analysis is sometimes vague or underdeveloped, you'll receive a score of 35 to 32 out of 40 points for this. And of course, I'm making comments on your document, which is why you need to submit it as a Google document, not as a PDF, so that I can type on it, okay? So there's your rubric. And then there'll be a total, since there's 3 70-point rubrics, it's a total of 210 points. It doesn't matter, it could be 210 million points. I'm entering your grade out of 25 points. So I will just convert it, okay? From a logistic point of view, as I already shared with you, there is a copy of the written prompts. You pick one, okay? How do you use Turabian style footnotes? Well, here you go. There's no MLA, don't think of it as a works cited. Your writing will have footnotes, okay? And I already gave you the citation right here. And it's very simple. I mean, obviously, you would just go with insert Why am I having a hard time doing this? There we go. So when you are in Google Documents, it's down at the bottom. It's under insert. So insert, and then you would simply go to footers and you would insert a footer for a footnote. Or excuse me, right there, I'm sorry, footnotes right there. There it is. Or Control Alt F. Sorry, I haven't done it in a while, right? Sorry, it's Sunday, a little bit off my game, right? So when you're doing footnotes, it's very easy again. All that you have to do is when you're in Google Documents, go to insert and go to footnote. And there you go. As you put in, this is what a footnote would look like right here. And the page the 57 just indicates the page from which you got that information from. If you got it from page 121, you would replace the 57 with the 121. So you already have the proper citation. So that makes things very, very easy. If you are going to cite something else, I gave you a link here to eTurabian, which tells you how to cite from various outside sources. However, you do not need to do that. You can literally just highlight this and copy and paste it as your footnote citation. And you just make sure that you put the proper page number, and you don't need to cite common knowledge. Common knowledge would be something as if the Continental Congress named George Washington commander of the Army. Common knowledge. You do not need to cite that, right? However, if there is something that is specific, right? George Washington commanded an army of fewer than 10,000 men. You can see that there I inserted a footnote, right? Because that is a specific fact, all right? When you're using the author's analysis, right? Where, at the onset of the war, it appeared, albeit superficially, the British possessed a complete strategic advantage from a purely military standpoint. That is analysis that is in the textbook. That is not your own analysis. So you are citing the textbook there, okay? When you are using the same source, which you will be doing here, okay, your second citation is always IBID, okay? So if you're getting another piece of information, you're using the author's analysis again in consecutive citations, and it is the same page, it is just IBID period, okay? IBID is Latin. I can't remember what it stands for. IBID period. That means same source, same page number in consecutive citations. What you're going to see more is what you see down here with these footnotes, okay? So for this, you can imagine the first citation came from the textbook on page 132, and then the second citation came from the textbook, IBID, meaning same source as above, right? So it goes IBID with a small I, capital I, and again, nobody hates grading citations more than me. Nobody. But I grade them all. So it's got to be right? Or we lose points. It has to be done properly. So IBID small I with a comma and then the page number and then a period. Your footnotes in Turabian style always have to end with a period. So again, if it's same page, same source, IBID period, okay? Obviously, you wouldn't use the quotation marks. If it is the same source, a different page, it's IBID, comma, and then the page number, and then a period. Okay. Good. And then you don't need the multi-paragraph essay guide yet. I have that. You can actually access that in our Google Classroom when I post it in our, writing resources handouts, right? But here is your single paragraph essay guide. You can read through this. I'm not going to do this right now. That would bore you to tears. All I can tell you is this stuff is really important. And if your topic sentence is not your first sentence, it's at best a 6 out of 10. So you have to make sure that you do that. So please read about topic sentence. I gave you samples, right? So the more sample topic sentences, right? If it's argumentative and you need a concession. If it's not argumentative, you don't need a concession. I talk about evidence and analysis, right? Show you example of evidence analysis, and finally a conclusion, right? If you simply are redundant in your conclusion and it summarizes your argument, the best you can get is a 7 out of 10. I don't need to hear it again. Like, I get it, guys. I'm in high school for 35 years. I'm not a genius by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't need you to tell me your argument again, right? So don't restate it, right? But rather, so what? Why does this matter, right? What are the long-term consequences of this, right? It's a link to the future. It may be immediate or it may be long-term. And whatever you do, just like in your topic sentence, don't use a citation. You never use a citation in your conclusion. It is your own insightful analysis. If you cite something, then you are not giving a conclusion. It's really 5 out of 10 at best, because you are not giving a conclusion. You are just continuing on with your essay. And I gave you some examples of conclusion there. So make sure you read through this single paragraph essay guide for writing. And then the other thing is, I can't look over your work. Yeah, I'm not lazy. I'll work every day in the summer, but it is farcical to think that I can read 345 rough drafts. I won't do it. If you have a specific question, I will answer it. I probably answered 500 email questions about this over the summer. Like, you're not bothering me. But what I won't do is you email me and say, could you take a look at my evidence and analysis? I'm not sure I'm doing it right. Like, I'm not going to handle something that is that vague, right? So I won't proofread your work and give you feedback. I won't do that. I will answer a specific question that you have, but you can't say, is my topic sentence okay? I'm not going to do that. Is my concluding sentence okay? I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm not reading rough drafts. I can't be clearer on that. I'm not reading rough drafts. So if you have a specific question, that is fine. All right, we're to the last part. Oh, hey, but this is still better than a meeting, isn't it? So the final part is the objective exam, right? The objective exam is taken the second day of school, Tuesday, August 24th. Taking it in class. And what you will see, 40 questions will be copied and pasted verbatim from the packet of 130 stimulus questions that you received. The stimulus questions, again, are what's on the AP exam, and it's 40% of your AP grade. Again, it's free country, man. You decide what you want to do. I would prepare. To walk in the first time and see these for the first time on test day would be incredibly hard. Really, really, really hard. Excuse me. I would answer all of them ahead of time. You cannot use the packet on the test day, but you can study from it. And here's what the stimulus question bank looks like. Again, this is provided in the assignment. So, I'm not going to go through and read them to you, but you can see there's a stimulus, right? Like, there's a quote from a famous Spanish priest, right? So you read this quote about the way that Indians are treated, and then you answer these 3 questions. You do not submit this. It is not graded. But I'm taking 40 of these 130 questions, and I am putting them on your summer assignment exam that you will take when you come back to school in August. And with 130 questions, I will create multiple versions. So with 5 sections of this, it's not like if you're in 5th period, like, lunch 4th period with Louis, he'll tell me all the questions that are on the exam. I'll tell you right now, you in 5th period are not taking the same test Louis took in 1st period, okay? Then there are 20 questions that are traditional multiple choice questions. And what I did was I took the people, places, and events from the end of each chapter, and I created this for you. Again, it's a free country. You don't have to do this, but you have a copy of this made. So if you want to, while you are reading the textbook and you get to the African slave trade on page 21, you could take notes right there. Okay. I guess I should have changed the date on that. August. What did we say it is? The 24th. Sorry, I had last year's date on there. Yes, it's the 24th. Okay. Very good. I guess I better change this too then. Sorry, guys, you're seeing how the sausage is made. All right. I'm sure that's not the first thing I messed up. Okay, so that's a total of 60 questions. So it would be we're not playing games. It's not minutia. But what I will do is I will take 20 questions from here, and it would be, some sort of, big idea question about a concept like it could be something as easy as, was the Pueblo Revolt successful, right? Or as we scroll down here, let's go, which of the following best reflects the attitudes of George and Cecil Calvert in the colony that they founded, right? The headright system was related to which of the following movements, and it might be like indentured servants, not movements, but the headright system is most closely associated with, could have like A, indentured servants, B, slavery, C, gender division of labor, right? It's going to be something that is a big idea. It's not going to be something like, how old was, Nathaniel Bacon when he died of dysentery during his rebellion? It's nothing stupid like that. Okay. So you decide how much you want to prepare for that. Once again, you cannot use a study guide that you create on the exam, of course, but it would be very helpful in getting you to study. So that's it, guys. Once again, you saw my email here. I expect lots of email questions. Once again, I'm not being, capricious. I'm just telling you I cannot read rough drafts. So just please ask me with anything specific. Cannot wait to meet you on Monday, August 23rd. Other than that, I think this was pretty self-explanatory. Okay.